two niggas spoiling movies. Yeah. Brandon Collins, that's me, and Justin Brown for your movie needs. Media popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Spoil it in your face. That's your warning. So if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Woo-hoo. Hey, baby, 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 baby. I get so high when I'm around you, baby. I can't touch the sky. You make my temperature rise. Ooh, you're making me high. Oh, baby. Little Tony Braxton for y'all,
Oh, there you go. There you go. I felt it. I felt it through the screen, baby. Hey,
Man,
everybody.
I'm giving it to you. Don't call me baby, nigga.
This is Eddie Collins. What's up, y'all?
Guys, this is Justin Brown, a.k.a. Tony Braxton. Tony, not Tony, but Tony. That's an Anthony.
Everybody. But we are Media Popcorn, spoiling movies as always, and we're going to be spoiling the 2025 movie Death of a Unicorn, which Justin had seen at South by Southwest. I finally took myself over to Alamo Drafthouse to give it a watch. Not my favorite movie-going experience. Full disclosure, that might impact my rating for this movie. So apparently I went on Baby Day screening the day, and that means that the lights kind of stay on a little bit. The sound is significantly dropped, and baby crying is allowed and stuff like that. And that was definitely happening during my screening. Also, there was two dudes who literally looked like Craig and Smoke from Friday who sat next to me, who were, I looked like they were playing Jenga or some shit on their table while also ordering all the food and drinks. It was insane. It was a pretty annoying audience. And so I think that kind of diluted the comedy, I think, for me. No one in the theater laughed. I chuckled a little bit, but like it was uncomfortable.
That's upsetting.
I imagine at South by Southwest, watching it with a full crowd, like that must have been a lot of fun, right? And I think we gotta at some point, maybe next year when we do some more festival coverages, talk about the influence that like going to a festival and feeling like part of the club, like exclusive, like it's the first time people get to see this shit, and how much that influences how much you like something. Because
I mean, that's true.
There's parts when I saw this movie where I was like, oh, like I can see why Justin and Tati like this. But then some of the CGI was really, really rough. At least from what I saw, especially in the daylight with the unicorns and stuff like that, it looked a little. I was like, this is looking a little Sharknado-ish.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that actually fed into the fun.
Okay.
Because I think this is a movie that didn't take itself very seriously. Which I enjoyed about it.
The last 10 minutes it does. The last 10 minutes felt like a Casper movie. It was like, Jesus Christ, Paul Rudd, what's happening? I mean, there was a lot of influences of other like films. Like I got like a lot of Jurassic Park 2 vibe at times. And I kind of wish it lent, like it felt like some scenes went on a little bit too long, so it diluted some of that horror, like, you know, unexpected murder, you know, deaths and jump scares and shit like that. But when that doctor got killed with the unicorn, that was pretty cool.
Oh, when he opened his shirt and you see like you see the blood, and all of a sudden the fucking full horn comes through.
So, yeah, folks, this is about a father and a daughter. They're heading for the weekend to Paul Rudd's character is a lawyer, basically, and he's using his daughter like to show that he's a family man, so he can be considered, because basically Richard Grant's character, who's like the patriarch of this rich family, business family, he's definitely ill. He's got like, you know, he's dying of cancer, and basically is he giving his shares to Paul Rudd's character, or he's bringing him in, right? So he's going to basically run the company for them.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be.
They want to assess his character as a family.
He's going to be a big proponent in moving forward in the company.
Yeah. So, you know, Jenna Ortega is his daughter, and she Paul Rudd's daughter. She's kind of like, you're using me to, you know, show face or whatever. Like I'm the grieving daughter or whatever the fuck. And so they fall behind on their drive to this compound or house, whatever it is. And basically Paul Rudd gets distracted and they end up hitting a unicorn.
And that's the thing I loved about this is like, you know, we kind of got right to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
Like the unicorn gets hit in the first like 10 minutes of the film. And it's just like, it's not like a thing where it's just like, what did we hit? Is it like, no, that's a fucking unicorn. And then, you know, we kind of start moving on from there. And then it's just like, all right, so the unicorn, they put the unicorn in the back of the car.
Well, mind you, it's after Jenna Ortega's characters touch the unicorn's horn because she's attracted to it and starts glowing. She basically sees stars and moons and all kinds of shit, all kinds of visions and stuff. And then it's interrupted with blood splattering on her face because Paul Rudd's trying to like put the unicorn off its mercy and beat it to death with a tire. Misery. What did I say?
Out of its mercy.
You know,
there's a mercy kill. That's a mercy kill. I know you're trying to say.
Lord of
that's
mercy.
Kind of weird. I put it out of its mercy. I'm begging you for mercy. Yeah, yeah. I'm begging you for mercy.
So the blood splatters.
The musical podcast. Today,
the blood splatters of Paul Rudd on his face. And so Jenna Ortega, she has acne. And then she finds out the unicorn blood basically took away the acne. And then Paul Rudd, because the blood squirted on his face and he cleans it up, he no longer needs glasses. So like basically,
and he had bad sinuses.
Bad sinuses, yeah. And, so this thing basically can, you know, the blood can cure all ailments basically, or the power of the unicorn. Because they start chiseling down the unicorn horn, but I was like, is it the blood that's giving them these powers?
No, I think
or I guess it's a combination of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like if you did the powder from the corn, it works a lot faster. Because remember, dude starts sniffing it.
Well, yeah,
he's like, I'm smarter.
Like cocaine. Well, I mean,
it's like limitless.
The funny thing is, it's just like, so the horn is almost like a gateway to another world, and then like I guess like let's say like universal knowledge, right? Because they said like, you know, like the unicorn, like when she looked into the unicorn, is like she knew where they come from, where we come from, what we're connected to, and all that. So again, universal, multiversal knowledge, right? But so I think when he was snorting the unicorn horn dust, so like it like you said, very much like a limitless drug, but like on crack, because like he just had like ultimate knowledge. I was like, all right, this is what we should be doing, and yada yada yada.
Yeah. Yeah, he was losing his fucking mind. Shout out to Will Poulter, man. He's becoming a very versatile actor. He's doing a lot of different stuff, and I'm appreciating it. Between The Bear, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, this kind of stuff, and you know, good for him. He's a weird-looking dude for him to be getting these roles, you know. But he plays the son of Richard Grant and Tay Leone's characters. He's this very like schmarmy, you know, preppy, you know, douchebag. Yeah. And yeah, it's just like, you know, it then basically they find themselves because they put, like you said, they put the unicorn in the back of the car. They arrive at the compound, which is you know, has servants and stuff. One of them is NoHo Hank from Barry and shit, which I'm just glad that guy keeps working because he has a very specific look. You know what I mean? Like he can't change it because we've seen him on Barry wear wigs and he looks crazy.
Yeah, his name of this was Griff.
Griff, yes. Occasionally they call for Griff across the compound. It echoes like, "Hey, Griff, Griff."
Hey, you know what? It's funny because when they scream out Griff, it's very like, "Mom, meatloaf." And it's like he openly hates his fucking life. He hates these people.
Oh yeah, and yeah, he just hates serving them. They're always like he just makes these exasperated faces and shit. And then you see how this family treats the people that work for them and service them. They're always like, you know, disposable at the end of the day, and we see that throughout like their actions and things like that. But basically, the unicorn gets discovered in the back of the car because it starts breaking through and shit like that. And then one of the people on the compound, I guess part of the security detail, She just shoots that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And then basically start experimenting on the unicorn, especially once it discovered that it takes away the acne, took away the allergies, the short-sightedness and all this stuff. Because basically Richard R. Grant's like, well, inject this shit into my veins if they're not having side effects, put it into me right now.
I'm about to die tomorrow.
Yeah. And then as soon as he got that new blood, and he started standing up, he didn't need his cane no more. I was like, oh, that's gonna be a problem, obviously.
Yeah.
But actually,
because
I'm sorry.
God, no. Well, I think because immediately they're just like, oh, we can get rich off of this. Even more rich than we actually absolutely are. Is just like we need to synthesize this compound, and so we can make more of it. It's just like we can't. This is something otherworldly. Like this is like whatever it is, what we have right here is what it is. And then it's just like, all right, then we're selling it to the highest bidder.
And that's what's so wild too. Like there were some things I really did enjoy about this movie, especially when they show like the greed of the family. Like, he starts knowing how scarce it's gonna be now. He starts fucking injecting the unicorn's blood into his bloodstream, right? He starts eating the unicorn. He has them cooking for him.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, yo, this dude is so out of pocket, even though he knows that there's such a small supply of it. Shit says his death was awesome. When he thought he was one with the unicorn and put out his hand, and it felt very Mars Attack when Jack Nicholson tried to talk to the alien before he gets the thing in his heart. Remember that?
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson does that fucking speech, and he's like, "We are America, and we're gonna be your ally," and they kill him or some shit like that. But yeah, like I definitely expected like the story to go where it was going, even though I didn't know too much from the trailers and from even you and Tati, like we're very careful not to spoil in our South by Southwest recap and stuff like that. But I wish there was almost even more death and carnage. You know what I mean? I wish we'd seen. I mean, we saw some rough. Like Taylor Leone's death was wild. And remember, folks, we're spoiling this, in case you didn't get that memo when we started spoiling shit 5 minutes ago.
Or just the fact is that we just spoil everything that we do.
It's literally in our theme song. Yeah, but dude, I thought the Asian doctor got it pretty rough when she got ripped apart. Because people were like, it was like you could see that she could maybe be innocent in all this, but she's still working for these fucking psychopaths. And she watched her colleague get killed, and she's still like helping cut off the unicorn horn. So, yeah. You made your bet.
Well, then the security guard at the unicorn stomped on its head. Well, stood on its head and squeezed it, and its head exploded. It's just like, those unicorns were not playing fucking games.
All those deaths were telegraphed in the tapestry, right? I feel like if you looked closely at the tapestry, like they all died in similar ways in the deaths that were illustrated. Like there's one that was like split in half, one that had their guts ripped open, another that had the horn through their head. I think they're like all like were foreshadowed. And that's what she was trying to that's what Jenna Ortega was trying to warn them about. She's like, I got this feeling. And that's the thing is, with Jenna Ortega now, Jenna Ortega's doing the J-Lo thing, but like it's more obvious now that she clearly is like half Latina. I mean, they show pictures of her mom, who clearly was supposed to look a little spicy and stuff. I wish that came into play a little bit more, right? Because it's almost like maybe they cut it a line, but it felt like she was trying to say like, these white people gonna get you into some shit. It felt like she wanted to say that to Paul Rudd at some point or something of that sort. You know what I mean? Like it felt like she felt that outsider status, not just because she's kind of like still doing her Jenna, Ortega goth kind of like, I'm against the establishment, man, that kind of thing. But I thought there was a missed opportunity there.
I mean, I see what you're saying. But they're not going to give it. They're not going to give us, too much shit as far as like, oh, she's Latina, and they're going to lean into that. Hollywood's just not like that. You know what I'm saying? They will let you know the niggas are white, but they ain't letting you know that that somebody is like a person of color because someone an actor or actress being ethnically ambiguous is far more is far better for the business because they appeal to multiple kinds of people. So they would rather someone, say, hey, this person is this. And I see myself in that person, even though it's wrong, as opposed to being this like, this is what they definitively are. Now you know.
Got it. Okay. So I have a question for you, Justin, because you and I have both been singing the praises of Jenna Ortega for a few years now, right? And she's huge, even though this movie was a box office disappointment. It didn't do well. As of this recording, it's underperforming significantly, right? Do you think that if Jenna Ortega is going to do roles where she's racially ambiguous or maybe, white aligned, do you think then she should start doing more adult roles? Because I think what didn't bump for me in this movie was this is almost like, I think we're almost getting to maybe half a dozen, if not more, performances of her playing a teenager, and she's into her 20s now.
But she's 22 years old.
I know, but at some point, because of the way she looks, it's like you're gonna get caught real quick playing like this young girl, even though you're gonna be in almost your 30s. That's gonna be weird.
Well, I mean, I still think that because of her age, and also she's not necessarily, like, a vixen in the sense where,
she's playing one though. It's weird. Like she did this movie on she did a movie on Netflix, I think, with Martin Freeman. Tati and I watched. It's supposed to be like an erotic thriller, and she was supposed to be like this vixen kind of tempting her professor, and it came off really creepy. And that in the interviews that they did, it's supposed to be like, yeah, she's younger, but like it wasn't supposed to come off as creepy. And I think it's because,
but she looks young though. Like you can't get past that. So I think like she's in a space in her career, and also just her womanhood where she's she's in the middle ground where she could go either way. You know what I'm saying? If she's dressed up, she can look her age, but she's not somebody who's going to be like, oh, this person looks, they're 22, but they look like 28. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She's always she can play 22. She dresses up, she's playing 22. But you dress her down and she can easily play a 17-year-old. So it's like I think she's gonna be in that bubble for a little bit of time because like, I mean her body's gonna mature a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But but her body's gonna mature a little bit more. And then when that happens, then you're gonna see her do more of a transition into these adult roles. Now the question is, how is the industry then going to view her, and how are they going to use her? Like, what kind of roles are they going to give her, or are they done with her and they've moved on? That's the thing about the business that we don't know what's which is going to be crazy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I've heard mixed things about for the industry gossip, mills and podcasts and stuff that maybe she's not the easiest person to work with, but you hear that a lot about strong-minded women in the business, especially. But she did recently come out and be like, "Oh yeah, that's what they told y'all about me dropping out Scream 7 for scheduling reasons. Yeah, that was all bullshit. I just didn't want to do it because the directors weren't doing it, and then they fired Melissa. So I was just like, I don't want to do it, which perfectly reasonable, right? Like I'm like, okay, that makes sense. If your agent and lawyer can get you out that contract, fuck it. So I don't know if that's indicative of her like just speaking her mind or being rebellious. You know what I mean? So I guess we'll find out eventually. Tonally, I think I was a little thrown off by this movie because, it becomes like this like kind of monster thriller, in the second act into the third act with the unicorns taking revenge to come after their slain child, basically. Right. So then people start getting got with the horns and ripped apart. Like I said, Taylor Leone, man, she got fucking stabbed through the chest, then thrown around a room, then bit into the side, and then basically just had her innards drawn from her from the mouth of a unicorn. I almost feel like
playing. They weren't playing.
That's a certain kind of death, bro. Because at least the husband getting the horn straight through the head, he's dead in the instant. His body might still be twitching, right? But he's immediately dead. Taylor Leone, like, is slowly dying, then getting thrown around, bitten into, and then she feels her last feelings are of her innards being ripped from her body. That's your last feeling in life, Justin.
She should have put some of that blood on it. She would have been okay.
Ooh, that's a dark way to go. Or get the unicorns to put their horns together, I guess, and
Their
make an
tips?
explosion.
Yeah, cross their tips.
Yeah, that was wild. At first, I thought I was like, Paul Rudd about to die again, right? Are they gonna make him a unicorn? I was like, is his consciousness about to turn into unicorn? Because I really thought the movie might go that weird. I was like, in order to save him, he might be in the mind of the body of the unicorn or some shit, you know? What I mean?
Like he becomes their child?
Yeah, or something like that. I thought it might get weird. Thankfully,
yeah. I mean, I could have seen it going that weird. That's a good kind of catch.
Will Porter was out of his mind. He let his mom die, even though she was going to die anyway. He was trying to do that little flaming arrow thing. I was like, well, first, he didn't later reveal she's not even very good at that bow and arrow. Anyway, so he probably wasn't going to make the shot. He had to be so close to her. He's like, yeah, I'm not very good at this thing. Which, have you ever done one of those bow and arrows, like with the thick bow?
Yeah.
That shit is like, you got to have some good strength to do that. Like, it's not an easy little.
Actually, so I took the archery and I did like axe throwing. Yeah. Actually, I was pretty savage with that shit.
Oh, we should go axe throwing as a podcast then. I like axe throwing. I'm pretty good.
There's a spot in Brooklyn I went. It's really cool.
All right, yeah, let's do some axe throwing. Then we can talk to the workers and be like, "What's it like working here? And have you ever almost had an axe thrown at you?" Because there's been at least one customer that does a wild shit with an axe.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? Like, where it's like, sir, put the axe down. What you gonna do? I got the axe. It's like, all right. do I?
Them and they take the handle.
At least there's one dude that's always. What I wouldn't even be surprised if it's once a week. Or they get an axe. If they get an axe attack. I wouldn't be surprised.
Axe attack. This nigga is like a maniac.
Because they don't do background checks. They don't make sure that you're legally allowed to have an axe in your hand.
Well, first of all, Brandon, there is no fucking thing where just like, sir, after so many random crimes, you are no longer able to wield an axe in public. Guns, okay, but there's no court office saying that you can't hold an axe.
I don't know. It could happen.
But it's also I was I guess to your point, it's like they have to come across people who are definitely not mentally sound enough to be holding a weapon like that.
For sure.
Or
for sure.
A tool which can be used as a weapon, because technically an axe isn't a weapon. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the one I went to, they allow drinking, which is even more problematic.
Yeah.
Like, hey, because I remember one time someone threw it so hard it bounced back.
Yeah. You gotta watch out for that shit.
Man, like,
yo, the first time I threw that axe, baby, I got that bullseye. It was just stuck perfectly. I'm just like, oh, y'all motherfuckers don't want to fuck with me.
Ball bugging over here, motherfucker.
Well, actually, when I was a kid, because my dad had every fucking tool in the world, and like
he had to put that work in.
Yeah, he did.
Listen, Justin, you never know when you're gonna need a wrench or a rubber band.
That was weird. But like we were cutting down something and my dad had, went to the Home Depot or some shit like that. And I picked up that axe. I was like, well, guys, it's now. Threw it at a tree and got that shit stuck in there. Problem was I couldn't get it out. And that's why I got an ass whooping. He's like, who put this axe in this tree? It's like, I did. It's just like, he looked at me. He's just like, you threw it, didn't you? No. Did he throw it? And of course, when my adopted brother's like, yes, daddy, he threw that axe. And next thing you know, I'm getting my ass whooped for throwing axes. Niggas used to snitch on me all the fucking time.
Like your adopted siblings because they would snitch on you?
Yes. Then I started snitching on them. Like now, like how funny is this
snitch
shit
on
now?
Each other. It's the traitors. Traitors in the brown house.
Oh man.
Okay. All right. So Death of a Unicorn. There's a lot of like themes about you're being morally sound and doing, looking out for family, prioritizing family, because Paul Rudd's whole thing was like, he's willing to compromise and do whatever this rich family wants him to, um, because he wants to make sure that financially, that supposedly he's able to financially take care of him and his daughter because he promised the wife before she died, that Jenna Ortega's character would never have to want for anything. And then he admits in the third act, right before they're about to get murdered by a unicorn, he's like, but maybe it was mostly for myself. It's like very emotional, but it's almost too serious for the movie that we're seeing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Brandon, these people have watched niggas getting ripped apart. It's like you think that they're not gonna, as a father and daughter, it's just like, hey, I'm about to die. Likely so are you. Hey, I need to just say what I gotta say right now.
Yeah, I mean, Taylor Leone was trying to do that with Will Poulter, and he kept running away from her. She's like, my beautiful boy. He's like, I gotta go, or he starts sniffing the fucking unicorn dust, which is wild because so the reason. So before they run out of the compound after being attacked by the unicorns, which mind you, at this point, they've sent out Griff because they're like, you're the gate man. He's like, I'm not the fucking gate man. I just know how the gates work. They send him out first to open the gates, which puts him at, risk. Then, and this is after everyone voted, except for Jenna Ortega, that he should do it. And then they send the Asian doctor next to reel out the dead unicorn to distract them so they can get away with the unicorn horn and shit. So it's like you're systematically seeing the people eat each other, but then realize that the people higher up than them were like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep making y'all eat each other. Like, but not us, though. Not us, baby.
Well, I mean, they're not eating each other. I mean, but I would say they're pushing certain people into the blender.
Yeah, they're pitting the poor people. It's all about class with this movie.
Yeah,
there's no race, man. It's just about the class discrepancies, bro. That's what they're probably.
There's no race, man.
Did you ever meet anyone who was like that?
Yes.
Like, I don't see race, and you're just like, I want to punch you in the face.
I just don't see race because I look at us all as just like people, and that's like, why don't you just say I'm not black, I'm OJ? Which is all in all, that's wild things to say.
Or my granddaddy was in the KKK and I'm overcompensating. That's what right? That's what that tells me. Yeah. I thought some of the stuff was a little on the nose of like how like pompous and obnoxious these rich people were, but it was enjoyable. I think, like I said, I think the environment where I watched this movie wasn't great, but at the same time, I probably wouldn't have been able to catch this movie with a packed crowd because it's not doing well at the box office. So I think unfortunately it just maybe missed its moment.
Yeah.
But I will say,
I think there was really no promotion for this.
That too. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if A24 is pivoting it for Friendship, which I was going to say is, I saw Friendship at South by Southwest. You saw this movie at South by Southwest. I will say, if you thought this was funny, you're going to love Friendship.
Oh, listen.
There's different comedy sensibilities, but you're going to love Friendship if you thought this was funny.
Yeah, I already know.
They showed the trailer for Friendship, but I was cackling.
Yeah.
Just
I can't wait for Friendship to come out. That's next month.
And mind you, except for the men's group singing that song a cappella, there's no real jokes in the trailer. It's just weird shit. So you don't even see a full joke, and that's what I love about it. I feel like Death of the Unicorn, the trailers that we did see, I would have held back based on how the first half of the trailer goes. I would have held back that probably the unicorn's going to start fighting back, or go lean fully into it. I think that's where the marketing dropped the ball.
Yeah,
because I do think that it gets a little bit too serious towards the end. Like I think that moment between Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega could still happen, but be a little bit more self-aware. It's played so seriously that it's almost like on an emotional level for Paul Rudd, where like he first saw his daughter at the during Endgame when he comes back for several years, right?
Yeah,
and I was like, these are two good actors, but this is way too serious given the situation. You know what I mean? They didn't quite strike that balance that I was hoping for, because I think there's a world where that could have fucking killed, but instead it just felt so I was a little uncomfortable. I'm like, not uncomfortable, like, oh, I don't know why I'm watching this, but just kind of like, oh man, this doesn't quite fit. Fuck, this could have been a really solid landing. You know what I mean?
I feel like it was the audience. Well, and also you're far more sensitive to audiences than I am.
That can fuck me up. That can really fuck me up.
Yeah, like, for me, this is like, I had the kids running around the house and was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this fucking movie. You know what I'm saying? So I wish you would have saw this, in a better fucking situation.
Yeah, I mean, that probably definitely would have enhanced my experience. I think I will say, like, the one thing that was consistent throughout that I enjoyed was Will Poulter's insane fucking character. And, like, basically he comes because Jenna Ortega's character basically posits that through the tapestry that she's found regarding unicorns from a picture that she was inspired by, like, that from her mom that had a unicorn in the background. She's like, basically, we're not supposed to take their powers, otherwise they'll become vengeful towards man and basically kill everybody.
Yeah,
Try to, like,
but these are also beasts that cannot be tamed,
and they can't die.
They're highly sought. Yeah, and they're highly sought after.
Yeah. So, like, even for the baby unicorn that is technically dead, like, at some point they'll come back alive. Like, they're like, you can't keep a unicorn dead.
Yeah.
And so Will Poulter's character then, like, does additional research because he starts sniffing up the fucking unicorn dust and basically posits, like, the only thing that can tame these beasts is like a soul that's natural and pure or something like that. And we basically, as an audience, know that's probably Jenna Ortega. That's why she was able to touch the horn and not get all fucked up, right? And so basically he's like, oh, I gotta use her as bait to lure the unicorns, get them tamed, and then I can, like, bag them up and fucking start using them for the, future, brain cocaine or whatever the fuck he's gonna do it for, right? And so he basically gets her to, like, encounter the unicorns. They both lay down on her basically like dogs and shit. And he
just ties their feet up.
He starts tying them up, like, that's gonna work. I'm like, so your powder is giving you all the tricks and information, except for knowing that this is a terrible idea.
You're gonna need far more rope than that,
Yeah.
nigga.
I was like, what are you doing, man? I did love how he died, though.
Yeah.
When he got kicked in the head and he just goes flying. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good death. I mean, it's instant though. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, but but also the unicorns are,
after watching his mama die the way that she died.
But that's the thing, is like the unicorns, like, they don't give a fuck. It's like, you gonna die, you gonna die. And it's just like, however quick, or is it long? Who knows?
No discrimination. What?
No discrimination.
How was that as a Michael Jackson impression?
What's that?
How was that as a Michael Jackson impression?
Oh no, it wasn't a great Michael Jackson impression. It was just, you just singing the dumb song.
Okay. I thought you were, like, praising me.
No, I wasn't. Right, don't worry, Brandon. You will know when I'm praising you, and don't worry, that's never gonna happen.
This is why I must be looking for approval in other people, folks. It's never gonna happen.
Yep, not from me, nigga. Not
you don't
from
even like Paddington.
Me.
Of course, it's not gonna happen from you. You fucking got coal in your soul.
You're right. My black ass heart.
There were no black people in this movie, but rightfully so.
Yeah, because niggas would not be fucking around with unicorns.
Yeah, we're not gonna fuck around with unicorns, especially when white people started siphoning off their blood and making them into fucking steaks and shit. Nah,
hold on. First of all, how many black people you gonna find at a rich person's compound in the middle of the woods? That ain't gonna be the butler.
Exactly.
No, at least was the most nigga person we had in this fucking movie.
Who was?
NoHo Hank. I mean, hold on. Let me at least. I actually very much enjoy that actor. His actual name is Anthony Carrigan.
Yeah, I walked by him on 34th Street or 8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was walking my job over there, because you can't mistake that guy.
Yeah. Like, oh, it's you, NoHo Hank.
Yeah. It was actually during the actor strike too. I wanted to be like, hey man, how you doing?
I mean, I hope the show comes back. I need
Barry's last season had just aired. So I knew he wasn't going back for that. He was casting Superman right before the actor strike, though. So I was like, all right. Okay. Yeah, Barry is done, right?
No, I know.
Okay,
I
you
didn't
made
know
a
that it
face.
was done. I didn't know that it was done before the strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right.
It
You know, you're
finished when
right.
I
It's
was in
been almost about 2
LA.
years.
Yeah.
It's been about 2 years at this point. Yeah, shit.
Yep. R.I.P. to a good one. I mean, it
Mhm.
made sense. How it ended.
Yeah.
It's fun. But yeah, man, Death of a Unicorn. There's moments where I was like, oh, this could be really entertaining and fun, and there was definitely moments where I chuckled or smiled and I was enjoying myself. But then there was like lulls, unexpected lulls, where I was like, we're still down here.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think it was more about like the unicorn lore. I thought that those scenes got a little redundant. Um, and also I get it. Jenna Ortega, you're a talented actress. I've been praising you for years. I get you. You could do the Denzel I cry from one eye thing. All right. She did that so many times in this movie. It's like, I get it, Jenna. You can fucking cry your ass off. It would have been great if Paul Rudd did it when he saw the visions after touching the horn or after
Yeah,
being
yeah.
revitalized or whatever, brought back to
Mhm.
life. Again, that part of the third act felt like Casper. Like,
Well, it was also weird that like they brought him back. They brought the baby unicorn back, and then like that little like orb that they created just exploded. But they were fine. They were fine though. And then the unicorns just got up and ran off. And then the fucking police show up and they look at them and they look at the dead bodies. They're like, ah, fuck. And next thing you see them in cuffs. But also, why didn't NoHo Hank fucking, be like, yo, there were fucking murderous fucking unicorns running around
yeah,
here.
that was weird. It was like, all right. And then the cop is driving them, say, you better have a good lawyer. And then like they chuckle to themselves because Paul Rudd's a lawyer. Like, and then the unicorns basically run up like along them. And the cop was like, what the hell? And so I was like, okay, so they're clear there. They got some testimony. They probably got some cameras and shit. And then the unicorns are like, they nodded Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd said, put your seatbelt on, honey. Let's get ready. It's like Fast and Furious. We're going to get broken out this joint. And then like it ends with a smash to black with the unicorns about to hit the car. And I'm like, wait, so they got broken out? But like, do they need to do that if they just revealed themselves as unicorns to the outside world? Like, I didn't get that ending.
Yeah, I mean,
Or was it that they were still
it's
vengeful? And they just like gave him a little sense of reprieve.
no. I don't think they're so vengeful. I think
Yeah, so
they're
then I
just
was like,
don't
well,
worry.
they don't,
Yo, we got y'all. Y'all the good ones.
but they don't need to do that if like they reveal themselves. All they have to do is go to the footage from the cop car and be like, hey, see, unicorns. Those are the niggas that killed everybody. Look at the stab wounds.
That's very true. Like, oh, check out this nigga that has a fucking he has a hoof on the side of his face. He's a hoof mark.
There should be hoof prints. There should be dirt everywhere from the fucking forest when they're stampeding to the house. Like, they should be okay. You know what I mean? Like, yes, initially, if you're the first cop on scene, yeah, you might be like, these are the prime suspects. Let's book them and stuff. But I want to be saying stuff like, I hope you have a good lawyer, because I'd be like, after I saw those unicorns, I'd be
that
like,
line
all right.
that line didn't make any fucking sense. Because even if you think that they actually committed mass murder, ain't no lawyer was gonna get them off on that shit.
Well, also, you don't want to say anything like that as a cop, I think, because for legal reasons. Like, the same way that they read your Miranda rights, I feel like cops also are like not supposed to talk to the perp. You know what I mean? In any way, right?
Nigga, have you ever seen a police officer? They're just like, oh, you going to jail? Ooh, you going to jail? They're gonna fuck you in jail. Like cops will fucking taunt your ass.
Like,
You
they
gonna
don't
be
talk to you,
eating
right?
ass in jail.
I've been a dude in the back of a cop car, like, please stop talking to me. You're not supposed to talk to me. I ordered this cop car quiet. Please.
Oh my God. Please, sir, leave me alone. I'm innocent, I tell you. Innocent. Ma.
Shut up back there. Shut up there, Blackie.
That's why they got that fucking fence there now.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't beat you from the front seat.
Yep. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they just be like hitting you with a baton in the back seat, just beating your ass.
They poke you with a cattle prod.
But for real though, they didn't need to be broken out. You just revealed yourself. Thanks.
Well,
thanks for the camera footage, y'all.
First of all, you're talking about unicorns, okay? Unicorns just like it's like, oh, these niggas fucking with you, we got you. Ain't nothing stopping us.
Yeah. I mean, I guess in a way it could help too to be like they crash into us, they try to kill us. You know, these unicorns are just out of control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, hey, no harm, no foul.
I did enjoy how Griff saw the unicorn. He's like, oh, okay. All right. Just
Yep.
like he was just like, no parts of this.
Mhm.
He's like, I know how this story ends.
Yeah, that's what was frustrating about watching it. I think with this crowd was like I could see moments where like the crowd would be laughing, like bursting into laughter and stuff, and then like, oh, that's funny, you know, things like that. But like this crowd, this audience was not into it.
What time did you go? Because like the in the morning, right?
1:45.
Yeah.
It was
Oh, on a
weird
weekday.
time. I went today. I
Okay.
saw today. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been to those. Actually, I went to in Finland. We went the first time in Finland. We went to like one of the the kids screening of a movie, and it's like it's not a kids movie. It's a movie for parents to watch, but they have like the thing down in the front for kids to play on and things like that. So it's like it's a weird space to watch a film like this.
Yeah, because it's like too much like your living room. A little bit. Or just like even with like and I get it, some adults just want to step out the house, they want to go see a movie. It's been a while. So I had two different parents with two different babies in the rows in front of me, and the babies would just like cry at different times. And then the parent would take them out, one baby out, but then the other baby started crying and they kept switching and shit. And that was like the first hour or so. Eventually they both just left. I think they both just tapped out in different ways. They're like, this is too much or whatever. And then I didn't even tell you the dudes that look like Craig and Smokey from Friday, they come in right when the movie's starting. They stop the waitress and order directly. They're in the aisleway. They haven't even gone to their seats. They stop in the aisle, stop the waitress and order food. And then they say, we'll be back. And then they leave. They come in like half hour later. And then they start talking and playing their Jenga game or whatever the fuck. Yeah, man. It was so weird.
Yeah, bro. You need to watch this at just watch it at home or something like that.
I know. I felt bad. I was considering leaving and just gonna be like to you and Lluvia, like, yeah. I think I should go. I should rewatch this. I mean, there's still parts of it that I enjoyed, and that I could give like I could prevent it from being like really impacting my rating of the movie. But I think even the audio, like just because the sound was lower, like
Yeah, they starting to sound low.
Like
Yeah. You need to rewatch this. You need to rewatch this.
Well, tell me about what you really liked about it. Maybe that'll like help me get more enthusiastic before we get to our ratings.
Well, I think for one, Will Poulter was fucking a monster in this. Like, I think he did a phenomenal job with it. I did actually enjoy, the ridiculousness of Tia Leone and Richard E. Grant's character and how smug that they were. I felt like yes, they were playing very much particular kind of character, but I found it entertaining. Especially on the opposite end of Paul Rudd and Jenna Ortega. Like when Leone tries to talk to Jenna Ortega, it's like, listen, I understand what you're doing, and da 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 da. But like, this isn't the time. And then she just walks away from it. She's just like, oh, there was all of these moments, but fucking Anthony Carrigan as Griff, like his facial expressions, his yes, he's with this family, but he's just like, these motherfuckers, like you could tell that like he had this, internal just hate for them. Like I found that just very fun and refreshing because every time Griff was on screen, he was just like, oh, fuckers. And like he played well. And then like every, minor character around in the film, like the different doctors and things like that, who all got it too. Like I felt like everyone played their role and they played their role pretty well. Jenna Ortega, she did her thing, like she was our grounded character, but Paul Rudd was also kind of like a middle ground. He was pretty grounded as well. Like also, their relationship between them, it felt like, all right, I could see these two people, being, having like kind of a fractured relationship, but not fractured in the sense of like fractured because we hate each other. It's just like, hey, you're a kid, I'm an adult, and like we have two different worldviews. So like I just thought that like everything was where it was supposed to be with the film. Yes, the unicorns are a little wonky. You know, the horns are fucking nuts, and they look like fucking literal monsters. Um, as opposed to the beautiful creatures that we know in our head, and like what that these fantasy films have given us of unicorns. But I and that's, I guess that's one thing. I would have gone with a more traditional unicorn take off of this and make them absolutely majestic in every aspect, and then the killing starts, because I think that would have made it a little bit more, just like wait, what the fuck is going on? But that's the one thing I would say about the film is it's like, give us more majestic unicorns and then fucking have them start murdering people, and like you don't really see it coming.
You heard it, folks. Just want some more of that majestic nature. UBR producer put out some letterbox reviews that she thought we should read of Death of Unicorns. So the first one's from Randy Jones, who wrote, "I really want to do a line of the Unicoke though. 3 out of 5 stars." Me too. Just to see what it's like, Mar wrote, "Perfectly resembles a drunk night out. I know I'm not going to remember a damn thing afterwards, but I know I have fun doing whatever I was doing." 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, that's a good assessment. I can't. This username is just a bunch of emojis and icons and numbers and shit. But they wrote, "I always wanted to know what Saltburn 2023 would look like if it was set in the Jurassic Park cinematic universe." 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay, that's a creative take. Jonathan Fuji wrote, "Movie so mid, security had to break up a fight in the front row." 2.5 out of 5 stars. Okay. George Carmi wrote, "We need more unicorn movies. They're too cool. Untapped lore. This was so fun and so funny, and I had a very good time with it. Will Poulter's comic timing needs to be studied." 3.5 out of 5 stars. Okay. And then,
I mean, it was weird that he kept on trying to get him into the hot tub with him. Like, what's going on?
It's funny.
I got a hot tub.
And then when they saw the unicorn, he's just like, "I feel like I shouldn't be wearing swimming trunks for this moment."
Yeah.
And then Jer wrote, "Killing rich people gotta be one of the best genres ever." 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right. Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. Guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies back to popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any hot, buttery, delicious popcorn, it's just running down your chest. Wait, what? Then we throw it into the stale popcorn pile. We pile piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it. So, Brandon, we sat down and we watched the horror comedy, the 2005 horror comedy, Death of a Unicorn, starring Paul Rudd, Jenna Ortega, Will Poulter, Tia Leone, Richard E. Grant, as well as my man, my favorite, Anthony Carrigan, a.k.a. Griff, a.k.a. NoHo. Go ahead, Brandon, what say you?
Yeah, this gets this gets a medium. Despite some of my challenges and stuff with it, I do like an original movie. This gave me something different. I just wish that the graphics were a little bit stronger and that the tone had been figured out. I think that there's some parts where it was a bit over dramatic, and some parts where it could have gone even further into the comedy, like you said, like making the unicorns more majestic. And so when they get really vicious and violent, it's even more jarring. Like, whoa, it shakes it to your core.
Like Brandon, there were some points where like if a unicorn did something like fucking crazy, and then all of a sudden the unicorn then like jumps on his hind legs, and it's like you just see that it's like a shot of this majestic hair waving, like that would have made it hilarious, because then you see the fucking blood run down its mane.
Yeah,
like things like that could have fucking just accentuated some of those scenes.
Yeah, 100%. What's your rating, Justin?
Yeah, I'm going to give this large. I really had a great time with this one. Tati and I saw this at South by Southwest. I watched it again, and like I very much enjoyed it. You know, this is like one of those films I've been suggesting to a lot of people. I was like, hey, this movie, the movie I was telling you about for South by Southwest is out. You should go check it out if you have the chance. And I still believe so.
Okay.
Just don't go see it on the fucking parent screening where they fucking turn down the volume, turn up the fucking lights, and you have children screaming next to you.
Yeah, man. It's just like, God damn it, I missed the punchline. You fucking baby. And you can't get mad at a baby.
Sure you can. Babies suck, man. I got one. I know them niggas suck. And they sucking on titties, and you can't suck them.
All right. Well, Jesus Christ. Folks, you know, as always, you can follow me at proto_blackens on Threads and Instagram. You can follow the show at Media and Pete Podcast on all social media platforms, mediaandpopcorn.com for all your media and popcorn needs, including the links for our YouTube. Push that subscribe button to get a little about all future reviews, celebrity interviews, and our live streams. And then you can also leave us a voicemail at 347-464-8214. Once again, that's 347-464-8214.
Show some love, baby. Show some love. Yeah,
Let us know what's going on, baby. And Justin, how can people follow you as well as support the show financially?
Guys, if you want to follow me at J Brown Did It on all the social media platforms and all that shit. But if you want to show this show some love, then you should go over to Patreon. Patreon.com/mediumpopcorn. We have $2, $5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog is on Patreon. That's where we live. That's where we at. And that's where you need to be. So again, that's patreon.com/mediumpopcorn.
Bang, bang. Yes, let's do it. Let's get it. Patreon.com. Come on, y'all. Support this show. And the money is tight. Leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast application, particularly Apple Podcasts if you can. Helps with the visibility of the show. Just, do something. It's 2025. We all out here struggling, but Justin, I bring you the laughs every week.
Yep.
Help us, help
Give
you.
this money. Give this money. Ain't no way you can take this from me. Ain't shit funny.
I'm never going to financially recover from it.
Then let's get it.
So, yeah.